All right, hey guys, welcome back. So this week we're gonna learn how to play the song Mr. Sandman, like Chet Atkins plays it, except I'm gonna show you some options so you don't have to do those ridiculous stretches that he does. So I'm gonna show you like what he's doing when he plays this song, but then I'm gonna teach you the way that I play it, which is much easier and safer for your hand, so you don't have to worry about getting injured. As silly as that sounds, it happens sometimes. So this song is made up of basically kind of like three parts. We're doing the intro, which is bars 1 through 8. Then we're gonna do the main theme. And then the theme kind of repeats itself again for the main theme outro. So the whole thing is 40 measures long, and we're gonna go through the whole thing right now. So here's the intro, and this is the way that I play it. Okay, and that's pretty simple. We'll go over that in a minute. The way that he does it, let's check his hand out real quick first. Oh man, ouch. Okay, so I'm gonna show you one time kind of what he's doing here, and then I'm not gonna do that again. Okay, I actually don't recommend for anybody to do this. Some people are kind of able to do it. I think it just depends on how maybe big your hand is or how wide you can stretch your fingers. If you can't do this comfortably, don't do it. It's gonna hurt you. It's not safe to do, okay? Like if you can't do this and it feels relatively easy, just avoid it completely. These are the type of things that people can actually strain their fingers trying to get these crazy stretches. Hopefully I don't do it showing you this right now, but I'm gonna just show you so you know what he's doing. This is what he's doing. So he goes up this arpeggio like that, but then he stretches this first finger all the way down to the 2nd fret. So literally your first finger is on the 2nd fret, your second finger is on the 5th fret. So then you have your 3rd and 4th fingers on the 6th and 7th fret. So you can see, if I give it all my effort, I'm digging in as far as I possibly can, hunching my shoulder over, pulling my elbow all the way in, as far as it can go, I can just almost barely get that descending arpeggio. Okay, and as you can see, it's not easy to do. It brings us to the question, like, why is he doing it like that when there's another way to do it? Well, if you do it that way, if you're able to make that crazy reach, the benefit is that the notes all ring out with each other. It's like a chord being played where you have, like, the notes are all ringing out together. And it's really beautiful. Obviously, that's why he chose to do that. And it's not that hard for his hand, obviously. I mean, I'm not saying it's easy for him to do, but it was doable for him, and he was able to do it without injuring himself. So that's why he did it that way. So what we have to do here is come up with a way to have those notes ring out with each other, but not be so without that crazy stretch. So this is the best way that I think that you can do it. So it starts the same way with this A major 7 arpeggio, which is just 7, 6, 5, 4, this diagonal line. We could play it like this. Okay, so where I'm playing 2 notes on the B string, like that, okay? But when you do that, these 2 notes can't ring out to each other because it's on the same string. So the way that I've organized it, these notes will be able to ring out. So if you play it like this, now all of a sudden you have those notes that are able to ring out. So let me kind of slow that down and show you what I'm doing. So basically it starts the same way, 7, 6, 5, 4. Pinky moves up over to this 7th fret of the B string. We play that note, then release the first finger and play the open E string. Okay, it's important to make sure that you're holding that note all the way up until the last moment. Otherwise, you lose the whole effect of having the notes ring out with each other. So the whole thing goes like this. So we're going up the arpeggio, move the pinky there, then lift the finger, open E string, pick comes down here and plays the G string, which this finger had been left on the whole time. Then the pinky will come back and play this note. Okay, that's the way that you can play it to have all the notes ring out, and it sounds pretty much almost the same way as the way that he does it. So here, check it out. One more time, I'll do it. Okay, and notice I'm really trying to hold those notes as long as I can until the very last minute to lift and then go back to the next part. Okay, so after that, that's basically the first 2 measures. The second arpeggio, we're just gonna slide this shape down to play a B minor. So this is just in the second position. We're playing 4th fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret on the top 3 strings like that. Go up the arpeggio, put the pinky down to hit this 5th fret on the E string, and then just hit this nice E7 chord in the 3rd position. So that's a 4, 3, 4. Okay, that's the phrase, and that's how you can do it. I think that's the easiest and also the most beautiful way to do it without doing that crazy stretch. Okay, so that's the first 4 measures. The next 4 measures, it just repeats almost exactly, except after you do this last chord, it plays those 2 pickup notes, Mr. from Mr. Sandman, Mr. Sandman, right? Okay, so that's 07. Okay, now one thing, when you repeat the opening phrase, this arpeggio, what I recommend is don't play it exactly the same way. Play it with like a different tone dynamic. So what I like to do is either play the first one here, okay, and then the second one, you know, I'll pull my pick back and play it more bright sounding, closer to the bridge. Okay, you can hear the difference in tone versus that versus, it's different. So that way it's just not an exact repeat, it's a little bit of a variation. Okay, so that brings us into measure 9 with it, which is the main theme. So from this point on, we're basically doing just boom chuck throughout the rest of the song, which means alternating bass like this. Okay, always kind of doing that alternating bass. So let's go through all the chords. The most important part for you guys to look at is really the chord grips. If you're just looking at the tab, there's like a really low chance that you're gonna just happen to put your hand in the right position. Please look at the chord diagrams. That's the best way to get the right fingering and make sure that even if you play a wrong string or a wrong note, it'll still sound okay because you're holding the right chord. It'll be the right harmony, okay? So that's the most important thing. Make sure that you follow those chord left-hand grips. Okay, so let's go back into measure, right before measure 9, we have this phrase, okay? And the way I recommend to play that is to get set up for this chord that's coming up in measure 9. Okay, and then set that up so that way when you play the 07 from measure 8 and then you go into this phrase, okay, your hand's already ready. Okay, so this chord shape is kind of weird. It's basically like that major 7 that we had before, but this time we have to refinger it so that we can add this 13 into the chord. So this will be 7th fret here, 3rd finger, 6th fret with the middle finger on the G string. First finger is going to catch the 4th fret of the E string. And then the pinky will catch this, which is the 13th, making it A major 13, to the 7th fret of the B string. Okay, and then you're just basically holding that chord and doing the melody like this. Okay, so we're hitting 4, 7, the chord is just already there. Sandman. Okay. Now another thing I'd like to say on the boom chuck part, this is gonna really help it sound a lot more like Chet plays it and get a really strong boom chuck feel if you pulse the left hand. So take a look at his hand, the way that he pulses it when he's playing this phrase. Okay, did you see that? So what he's doing is he's pulsing his left hand, gripping it down to ensure that the chord part is really short, okay? Instead of, without that, it's, okay? And these notes ring out and it starts to get kind of muddy. So pulse that hand, okay? And it makes it nice and short. The other benefit from that is actually pulsing your hand takes away a lot of the effort. If you're holding a chord down for several seconds in a row, that's a lot harder than like pulsing it just for every kind of quarter note. So you save a lot of energy that way too. Even though it seems like maybe that'd be harder to do, give it a shot and it's easier, I promise, once you can get through that, okay? So that's the first phrase, Sandman, pulse that hand. Okay, now we go to measure 11. This is basically just an A flat major chord with the thumb over the neck grip, and we're just gonna go, he's harmonized it with the 1st and 3rd string with this chord grip. So it's with the boom chuck. It plays that the 4 times. Okay, and then he walks up to the next chord like that. So 6th fret of the low E string to 3rd fret of the A string. Now this is the next chord, which is actually a D flat 9 chord, but we're going to have this extension of a sharp 5 here with the pinky. Okay, so basically we're just holding this chord again. Remember to pulse it. Okay, for 2 measures. The melody is going. Okay, they're all on the beat except for that last note. So it's okay, that last little 4 is in between the notes, in between the bass chuck. So we go one more time. All right, cool. Next measure is going to be an F sharp 7 with a sharp 5 addition. Again, you could also call this a flat 13. But basically here he's just boom chucking that, and then the melody goes really, really high tension melody. Okay, and then we walk up to the next chord. So again, so we're going basically with the right hand, and then the boom chuck stays the same. Okay, so it sounds like this. Then the same kind of walk up like we did from before. This time it's going to go 4th fret on the E string, 1st fret on the A string, to this B13 chord. Okay, now this is another one of those crazy stretches. As you can see, I could just barely reach past this fret here. And I'm not going to get any better than that. My hand isn't going to get any bigger. I'm not going to be able to stretch any further. But if you press down hard enough, you can get a good note, you know, on that fret, okay? If you like Chet Atkins style, this style chord is in probably every single one of his songs. So give it a shot. Remember, this is going to be almost the hardest, or this will be the hardest position for you to do this. As you go up the neck, you know, the frets are a lot closer together. Your hand's in an easier position to grab it. So if you can just barely get this one is one worth practicing. Don't strain your hand. You can strain your hand on this just like before, but, you know, do your best on it. This is something that will come up a lot. So now we're at measure 17. Okay, notice the melody is going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, with the boom chuck. Okay, also we're alternating the bass on that boom chuck too. So the 3rd finger here is going from the 2nd fret to the 2nd fret, 2nd fret, 2nd fret of the A string and E strings. Okay, this goes into measure 19, which is just an easy E6 chord, which is just like a regular E chord, but with the pinky down on this 2nd fret of the B string. Okay, and that phrase sounds like this. Okay, and then we do a walk up. So again, E, 2, 4. Then we go to this A add 9 chord, which is basically like this A major chord shape with the pinky added on the 7th fret of the E string. Okay, and we're alternating the melody, the pinky to get that melody. Okay, with just a simple boom chuck. Where we're going A string, E string, A string, E string. All together. Okay. Not too bad. Going to measure 23, it goes to an F9 chord. Again, this is the same style chord that we've had before, but we don't have the pinky stretch up here. So it's just a, okay, that's the 1 measure. And then we slide this down, and again, this is gonna be that pinky stretch one. So it goes like that. So we're going pinky up here on the 9th fret of the 1st string. This chord is that standard 9th chord that we've been playing all day. 7, 6, 7, 7, 7. The melody is going, that's it. So let's keep moving on. So after that, it's basically doing the theme repeat. So you could just play that exactly the same way, but Chet doesn't play it like that. He varies it a little bit just by adding a little bit more syncopation. So we're going to go through this section again, measure by measure, so that you can kind of get the syncopation that he's adding. This time, it starts right away with Sandman. There's no Mr. Sandman part. So backing up, we have this. And then back to Sandman. Okay, that part is exactly the same. Sandman. Okay, this part now has a variation. Measure 22. So hear that syncopation instead of this time it's okay. Then we walk up to the D flat 9 chord with the sharp 5 addition. Okay, again, there's more syncopation on this section. So we're walking it up. We go 6, 3, 6 on the low E string, 3 on the A string, then to this D flat 9 chord, which is the 4th position, same chord shape we've been playing all day. The melody here is going 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, like that. Okay, that's the way that he phrases that. You can vary that as much as you want. Like, don't think that you have to play it exactly the same way for it to sound cool. It's going to sound cool if you just do it however you want, with a slight syncopation. You could do it like that, or like that. Those are all kind of acceptable variations. So don't get too caught up on getting it exactly the way it's written here, but this is the way it's actually written. Okay, so notice on measure 30 we do that kind of little roll. Cool. Okay, let's move on. Measure 31, it goes back to that F sharp 7 with the sharp 5, and that is phrased the same way as we had before, until it resolves to just a standard F7. So the way that I recommend to finger that, again, thumb over the neck in the 2nd position, and then we got first fret here, or sorry, first finger on the 2nd fret of the D, 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the G string, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. That gives us that sharp 5 for F sharp 7, sharp 5. So that would give you this phrase. Okay. Then basically just take this 3rd finger off, bar the 1st finger to catch that 2nd fret on measure 32. So again, 31 and 32 sounds like this. All right, cool. Now we're going into the outro, which is a little bit different than the main theme from before. There we go to a B minor chord, and it goes like this. So just regular straight B minor in the 2nd position. Okay, follow that chart. And the boom chuck is alternating between the A string, E string, A string, E string. Okay, and then the melody goes like this. So we have to go, 4th fret here, 3rd fret, 2nd fret. Pinky's gonna lift and catch this 5th fret of the high E string. Okay, from here, slide this shape up to catch this D minor 6 chord. Okay, and the melody is just holding the 7, alternating the bass just like from before. Then Mr. Okay, now we're gonna go to the last 4 bars. Okay, so we just had that D minor 6. Measure 37 goes to a thumb over the neck, kind of B chord, like this, just kind of like a B major, but we're adding the pinky to catch this, to make it a B add 9 chord. Okay, nothing crazy here. We're just going alternating. Okay, measure 38 is pretty tough. This is where we have to very quickly switch to this E13 chord. Okay, and we're just playing it for those 2 beats. So again, measure 37, it's... Okay. Then we go to this chord, which is basically an E7 add 11. We're alternating between the E string and the D string. That makes it the E7. And then the first finger is playing the 5th fret. Pinky finger will play the 7th fret. Now I like to actually add the 3rd finger here just to kind of give it a little harmony as well, even though it's not written there. So I'm playing it like that. Okay, that follows up with just an A chord, A major, and we're just going to pluck the low low A string with the top 2 strings on the 5th fret, and then arpeggio up like that. All right. And that's the end of the song. Make sure to hold that last note, okay, to let your audience know that you finished. Okay, so those are all the parts to this one. So this one, it's short, but it's a tough one to play, but it's really, really fun. And also, almost everybody recognizes it too. So this is a great one to perform for your friends and family once you learn it. Take it very slow. Remember that pulsing technique that we talked about from the beginning. That's going to help a lot. And that's it. You know, be kind to yourself. This is a tough one, so make sure to give yourself plenty of time to learn it and be kind to yourself while you're learning this one, okay? All right, so that's it for this one, and I'll see you guys on the next one.